after all, another way in which human beings are not machines is they aren't programmed to have certain responses. We alter all the time. We are in a continual process of growth, in a reciprocal relationship to the environment. And by the environment, in this case, one would mean the sort of way in which the intellectual environment affects us, what we hear, how we're trained to think in school, the ways that are reinforced by the activities that we do, the way in which we spend our working lives. All of this may be geared towards a mechanical view of what a human being is and what a human being is doing in this world. And as you know, that's absolutely central to my wish for this book, that we will explore what a human being is and what the world is like and how we relate. And spoiler alert, I believe that we believe ourselves and we believe nature to be mechanisms, even if we may not say that, and scientists often do say explicitly that, we've been trained to think more or less in that way about them. But in doing that, we mistake the most important characteristics of both.
And this is a perfect segue, I think, to talk about the body and the altered role of the body, which is exactly what follows after the description of the delusions you just made in your chapter. So if you may, can we talk about the body? And here I had already, we can go through, again, the fascinating list, and perhaps we should, of altered role of the body. But I would at least particularly need a clarification of what's the body schema. Because again, and this helps tremendously, I think, to everybody, and neuroscience too, because neuroscience, it's rediscovering the role of the body. But perhaps there are different notions of the body. Even the phenomenologists, as you know, use two German words to refer to the lived body and the objective body in a way, right? Now, but body schema seems something also very juicy to understand differences of the perception of the body. So if you want, we can start with that and then go through the list, which is interesting too.
Yes, what you're referring to, as you know, is that in German there's a distinction made between Leib, which is the living body, and Körper, which is the body on the dissecting table. And of course we make a distinction in English. I don't know, you must do in Spanish too, I imagine, but we make a distinction between the body and a corpse. A corpse is the body like the Körper that is objectified and dead. One aspect of modernism is that it has cultivated an uncanny idea of the body and of people as corpses and as zombies. But yes, you refer to the differences between the hemispheres here. And one of the most basic differences is that body parts are present in the left hemisphere, but the body as a whole only in the right. So if you ask somebody who's got right temporoparietal damage to draw a body, they will draw a series of disconnected parts. And they think of the body as a collection, a connection of parts, where it isn't at all put together in the way a machine is. It exists as a whole. So that's a good place to begin. The body schema is not just a visual image of the body. It's an image in every sense. So it's proprioceptive, which means that we have a sense of where the parts of our body are. If we close our eyes, we know where the parts of our body are, and we know where it is in space, and we have a sense of inhabiting it. This is right hemisphere mediated. And what happens in anorexia, I must just return to that, is quite interesting, because one of the things one notices in people with anorexia is that they have a kind of loss of normal affect. Their relationship to the world is somewhat detached and bizarre, and they don't have the normal range of empathic feeling. That seems to be lost in this illness, which first of all is another reason for thinking that maybe the right hemisphere is affected here. But there are other reasons where we have examined cases of anorexia coming on after a tumor or a stroke. They have come on overwhelmingly after a right hemisphere tumor or stroke. And there is even a fascinating case of somebody with life-crippling anorexia who had a left hemisphere stroke, and her anorexia went away overnight after years of being resistant to treatment. So this is extraordinary. What it also incidentally flags up is that the hemispheres are always in a sort of balance, and that sometimes the appearance of a deficit in the other hemisphere from the one that's already damaged can improve the situation rather than necessarily make it worse.
Yeah.
So there's that. And then I just mention a few other possibilities. I mean, another bizarre thing about the body schema is that it appears that it's innate, that it's not something that you derive from experience, but that you are born with.